Recently, at a pro-choice rally, Chuck Schumer, a Democrat from New York, issued a threat to two Supreme Court justices, and it just so happens to be the two that Donald Trump had nominated and essentially appointed. It's Gorsuch and Kavanaugh. He said, "You will pay the price if you do not rule in his favor." Basically, we'll read through this, I'll be fair, but let me just tell you something. Civility is breaking down, and this was shocking to even me. Now, a lot of people on the right are saying this was a threat on the lives of the Supreme Court justice. Well, hold your horses there, mister. It's definitely a threat. I don't want to say it's a physical threat. I don't know what kind of threat it is, but he did say you won't know what hit you. Now, that can be a figure of speech. He says you will pay the price. Okay, let me ask you something. Can you vote out a Supreme Court justice? No. Can you impeach him? Yes. Can you impeach a Supreme Court justice for ruling legitimately on something against you? No. Of course, I don't think that would stop the Democrats. We've seen how they've been acting in the past couple of years with scandal after scandal, and they've already tried going after Kavanaugh. So here we have Chuck Schumer straight up saying, rule in our favor or else. The independence of the judiciary being threatened by a Democratic senator. Now, you've got a bunch of responses we'll go through, but I will just start you right off with my opinion. This is insane. What do you think? What do you think this is? The Supreme Court is an independent judicial legislation. It's the highest court in the land. They are not a political body, or they're not supposed to be. They kind of are. And they rule as they see fit. They serve for life. What price could possibly be paid? Well, now Schumer's trying to walk things back and say, oh no, we're going to vote out Republicans. I don't think the independent judiciary cares if Republicans don't or do get elected because they're appointed for life. So you really got to wonder what Schumer meant by this. But he did respond. First, let's read the story from Fox News from just the other day. A fired up Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer appeared to issue a vague warning. No, Fox News, it was a straight up threat. Maybe a threat on their careers or their allies or whatever you want to call it. It was a threat toward Supreme Court Justices Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh on Wednesday during a rally held as the court heard arguments in a high-profile abortion case. At the rally hosted by the Center for Reproductive Rights, Schumer noted that the case, June Medical Services LLC v. Russo, is the first major abortion case since President Trump's court picks have been on the bench. The dispute, dealing with restrictions over who can perform abortions, involves a Louisiana law similar to one in Texas that the court ruled unconstitutional in 2016 before either Trump justice was on the Supreme Court and before conservatives held a 5-4 majority. He said, I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind and you will pay the price. How did they release a whirlwind? They didn't do anything. They didn't rule on this. They weren't even on the bench when the past ruling was made. Look, I got to be honest. Chuck Schumer is he's full of it. He's blowing hot air. But I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter if you think he actually intends to threaten these people or if he's just trying to rally his base. It doesn't matter. You can't say these things, okay? He said, you won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions. Video of the remarks quickly circulated on social media with Republicans casting the warning as a threat against the two sitting Supreme Court justices. Why does Fox keep calling it a warning? Listen, if I say it to you, if you get the Gunderson account, then you won't know what hit you. If you take that account from me, that's a threat. What is it supposed to imply? Let's say you're in an office and there's a promotion and you walk up to the person who's your rival for the promotion and you say, if he gives you that promotion, you're going to pay the price. You won't know what hit you. That's a threat. What do you mean a warning? I'm just warning you. I might do something. No, it's a threat. A warning would be if something might happen if you do something wrong. That's not the way Schumer phrased it. If he came out and said, you have to understand, if you vote in this way, you will see a wave of voters coming out against the Republican Party and you won't know. No, he said you will pay the price. You on the bench. He didn't say the Republican Party. He didn't say Trump. He said you will pay the price. Schumer did not explain what price this would be as far as the justices are concerned, but reached for comment. His office said in a statement to Fox News, it's a reference to the political price Republicans will pay for putting them on the court and a warning that the justices will unleash a major grassroots movement on the issue of reproductive rights against the decision. I don't think they care. Do you think the Supreme Court justices are trying to get Trump elected, are trying to help him win. I gotta be honest. They're probably biased. Sotomayor's biased and Ginsburg's biased. The rest of them are biased. They're all biased. I get it. But I gotta say, man, it feels like things are breaking apart when stuff like this happens. You had Sotomayor issue that strong statement claiming the court was, doing the bidding of Trump or whatever, and that should not have been done. The independent look, Trump got elected. He gets to appoint who he gets to appoint. Barack Obama he nominated Merrick Garland, and Mitch McConnell blocked it. Something I disagree with. If you're the president, you make the appointment, move forward. And the argument was, well, if the Senate is in contrast with the presidency, then you're going to have an election to determine the right thing to do, blah, blah, blah. No, I disagree. That's wrong. But it doesn't matter because the Senate can operate as the Senate desires and the president can operate as the president desires. And this is normal. If the Republicans held the Senate, then they blocked it. They did what they're allowed to do it. Then when you get to, Donald Trump's election, you now have these justices and he can appoint them. You can't now turn around and threaten people, whether it's physical or otherwise, because they're going to issue a ruling. This is how things have always operated. During the rally, Schumer did go on to describe how Republican lawmakers could be impacted. He said, "We will tell President Trump and Senate Republicans who have stacked the court with right-wing ideologues that you're going to be gone in November and you will never be able to do what you're trying to do now ever again." Earlier in his address, Schumer had accused Republican legislatures of waging a war on women and said reproductive rights are under attack in a way we haven't seen in modern history. This is not the first time a Democratic senator issued vague warnings. Come on, stop saying warnings. Toward the Supreme Court in August. A group of senators led by Senator Sheldon Whitehouse filed a brief in which they accused the court of being politicized, calling it not well, and warning that if it does not heal itself, it could be restructured. This was taken as a warning that the Democrats would attempt to pack the court by increasing the number of justices and loading the bench with liberals once a Democrat is in the White House. Great, do it. If it's within your powers, fine. Don't issue vague threats. Just say, we're planning on changing the court. You got a problem with that? I honestly don't think they would. I really, really don't. Well, we have a response from Roberts. Statement from Chief Justice John G. Roberts Jr. This morning, Senator Schumer spoke at a rally in front of the Supreme Court while a case was being argued inside. Senator Schumer referred to two members of the court by name and said he wanted to tell them that you have released the whirlwind and you will pay the price. You will not know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions. Justices know that criticism comes with the territory, but threatening statements of this sort from the highest levels of government are not only inappropriate, they are dangerous. All members of the court will continue to do their job without fear or favor from whatever quarter. Chuck Schumer responded, saying, women's health care rights are at stake, and Americans from every corner of the country are in anguish about what the court might do to them. Senator Schumer's comments were a reference to the political price Senate Republicans will pay for putting these justices on the court and a warning that the justices will unleash a major grassroots movement on the issues of reproductive rights against the decision. For Justice Roberts to follow up the right wing's deliberate misinterpretation of what Senator Schumer said while remaining silent when President Trump attacked Justices Sotomayor and Ginsburg last week shows Roberts does not just call balls and strikes. Sotomayor issued a statement about the court, this affecting or going after the independence of the court. And yes, Trump called her out, and we got to chill out, everybody. But hey, she's the one who issued the statement saying this court is being politicized. It's doing the bidding of the president. Whoa. You're mad because you're losing? This happens all the time. A new president gets in and he picks the Supreme Court justices. That's how things work. And they serve for life. Now you're mad that the court flipped, for the first time in a decade or whatever? Or I don't remember the last time. I was a bit too young back then. Now you're acting. So let me make one thing absolutely clear, because I do have, of course, the media is going to come to his defense. He said you. He didn't say the Republicans are going to pay the price for this political appointment. He said you will pay the price. Okay, I don't care what you were trying to mean. I don't care what you what you think you meant. I care about what you said and how someone in the court would interpret that. You told them of their persons, they will pay that price, and that could absolutely influence their decisions. Even if he said, you've unleashed the whirlwind, and if you make this decision, Republicans are going to pay a heavy price, it's still a threat. You are still trying to gain favor through fear in the court while they're making their decisions. So listen, Chief Justice Roberts issued that, rebuke of Schumer because Schumer was politicizing a Supreme Court decision, which I get it. The Supreme Court is politicized. What are you going to do about it? This is what you get when you don't vote. This is what you get when you put up Hillary Clinton. It's your fault, nobody else's. So what do you think the media has to say about this? Are they going to say Schumer should not be politicizing this? It is a dangerous thing to do. No. They said Chief Justice Roberts should not be. Are you kidding me? Check this out from Newsweek. Chuck Schumer being reprimanded by Chief Justice Roberts, quote, hurts the notion of judicial independence, say legal experts. Are you kidding me? Chuck Schumer should not be coming out and issuing threats to judges, no matter what the threats are. If Schumer came out and said, I tell you this right now, if you make this decision against what I want, I'm going to donate $100 to your opponents. Even that, to me, is inappropriate. Okay, not really the worst thing. I don't know who his opponents would be. The point is, don't try and swing favor with the votes through fear, intimidation, or pressure tactics. Of course, we've seen protesters bang on the doors. We've seen a lot of protests over this stuff. So I get it. It's the world we live in now. Cat's out of the bag. I don't know if we can fix it. Maybe it's just going to get this bad. Maybe it was worse back then. I don't know. I'll make another side point about, what people don't realize with times changing. Barack Obama. So Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks was basically, and I'm not saying this to be mean to the guy, but he was on the verge of tears in this video when he saw that Bernie Sanders was losing on Super Tuesday. And he said, they're lying about Bernie. He said the same thing that Obama did. Obama praised, Cuban literacy programs or whatever. And Bernie said the same thing. Media, tell the truth. Bro, the people who are reporting on Bernie Sanders right now, who are like 30 years old, were like 18 years old when Barack Obama was elected. Those people who were 18 back then weren't working in these newsrooms. Most of them, they're probably in school or maybe in the mailroom if they were at a news company, and weren't the ones doing the reporting. So these people like me, when I was young, I didn't know anything about Cuba and what Barack Obama had said. So now, and I don't know when he said it either, but I also wasn't doing a political commentary beat either. So I can speak for myself. You know what? I don't think Barack Obama should have said the trains ran on time. The same. The point I'm trying to make about with this is that times change and sensibilities change. And sometimes people say that shouldn't have been okay then. That's true for literally everything. Now, of course, you still have the heavy-handed social justice types who think nothing should be okay. That's a bit absurd. I don't think Obama or anyone should have praised this, but you need to realize the difference is times like as there's different people now. There's different people, right? So if you want to argue about in the past they've done this or done that, that's fine. But it doesn't mean the machine is wrong because a new generation has stepped in with different sensibilities. That's called like a normal thing. But let's read this from the media. They say, Supreme Court Justice John Roberts' rebuke of Schumer over remarks made at an abortion rally risked hurting the notion of judicial independence and public faith in America's top court, two senior lawyers have said. The Obama-era U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Alabama, Joyce Vance, Obama-era, huh? And Chief Justice Roberts said Chief Justice Roberts' comments released in a Wednesday statement risked damaging public faith in the Supreme Court's neutrality. Why? Because he said don't threaten justices that are sitting on the bench making a decision? Gibson Dunn partner Ted Boutrous added that Roberts should have repudiated President Donald Trump's attacks on Supreme Court Justices Sonia Sotomayor and Ruth Bader Ginsburg last week, suggesting his failure to do so while blasting Schumer brought the court's impartiality into question. I can agree with that to an extent. Absolutely. But the feud between Trump and Sotomayor was based on her saying the court was just doing his bidding and they were risking all of these things. Fine. You know what? To a certain degree, I can respect Sotomayor saying, hey, I'm concerned about the court, but to a certain degree, for the most part, shouldn't have done it. The court has always functioned this way, at least as far as I know. I remember when I was a little kid, it was back in when Bush and Gore was running, and when I was talking to people, because I didn't know a whole lot, I remember people telling me the reason they were going to choose one over the other was for the Supreme Court, and that was it. That was it. It was like, oh, why are you going to vote for Bush or Gore? And I'd hear people say, listen, you got to get a Democrat in because the Supreme Court justices, someone's going to retire, then you need to appoint somebody or something like that. And the same was said about Republicans. So as far as I know, it's always been that they wanted to get a conservative or a liberal to appoint the judge that they think would favor their ideas and their ideology. For me, this is how I grew up. I don't see it as being any different today. But you get the point. I'm going to wrap this up on this one. Trump responded, and he says Schumer should pay a severe price for Supreme Court threat. I mean, I don't know if I would put it that way, but I think, some people are calling for Schumer's censure for trying to sway the court in any capacity. The reason I brought up the Cenk Uygur thing is because I can't speak to things that happened when I wasn't working in this field or when I was a little kid. If you want to go back to the things that Obama said and question why I didn't criticize him, I'll be honest, I was very critical of Obama to my friends, but I wasn't working in media. And many of the journalists who are coming after Bernie for saying these things also weren't the people leading the charge. If you want to come at me and say, Tim, but what about in 2007 when so-and-so said this? I'm going to be like, dude, I don't know. I can tell you right now that's wrong. I don't know what they did in the past. I can just tell you right now, I think that's wrong. That's it. Okay, I'm about to be 34. I wasn't, for the most part, into doing political commentary stuff even a few years ago. It's only now because the story's basically taken over everything. I used to do more on the ground stuff, but that's a whole other story. Basically, you will find that new voices rise, and it's partly because of the willingness to call out things that were not called out before. So I'll leave it with this. Civility is going out the window. We've got an increase in violence. Bernie Sanders supporters who happened I'll be fair. Bernie Sanders has some regular sane and good people who are supporters, and that's the majority in my opinion. But he has rallied gutter trash that get violent and smash windows, and he's only partially called them out sometimes. His own campaign staff can say these things, and they don't care. You know why? The people he's courting don't care. Guess what? Different people have different sensibilities. So maybe we should see more of the older crowd calling this out. Well, they're not doing it. I don't know what to tell you. What I can say is maybe some of these things have happened in the past, but new people are now stepping up and are viewing things very differently and calling this out. The reason you will see voices, for instance, like mine rising up is because I have certain opinions and sensibilities that a lot of people agree with and many disagree with. But if someone for a long time never called out this kind of partisanship, if someone for a long time didn't call out the double standards they see from media, then eventually people get angry and tired and search for something new. New voices in media arise and start calling it out. It is not a special favor. It is not lying. It is not grifting just because one media company didn't cover things the way you wanted it to 20 years ago and people cover it differently today. All I can really tell you is this is insane to me. Schumer should not be saying these things. I can't remember, in my career, something like this. And maybe it's just because I didn't know about it. So I'm more than happy to call it out for anybody. I'm more than happy to be critical of Trump for the feud with Sotomayor, pointing out Sotomayor's the one who started it in the first place. That doesn't give Chuck Schumer the right to stand in front of the court and say, you're going to pay a price to them. He said, you. That's the important distinction. I don't think this will go anywhere. I don't think it's, we'll see what the ruling is, whatever. I have no idea. But, the reason I want to do the segment is because when you start having the court, like Sotomayor, going after the other justices, Trump getting involved, now Schumer targeting the court, I'll tell you what, man, whatever the civil war is or could be or culture war, the divide exists in our government. You've got the Democrats playing dirty, going after scandal after scandal after scandal, tearing things apart, targeting the courts. And here's what I see. I see a group of Republicans, people I typically don't agree with on many core issues. Now, the far left, I really don't agree with on a lot of issues, way more than Republicans. But the establishment Democrat types aren't even offering anything. All they're doing is slinging mud. Sotomayor going after the other justices, the Kavanaugh hearings resulting in the Kavanaugh effect, Schumer threatening the justices. Did Brett Kavanaugh come out and say, I really hate you? It's like, whoa. Brett Kavanaugh had a reaction when we were going through the trial where people said, aha, he's biased, after he was already falsely accused of absurd things and they tried smearing him and destroying his life. That was crazy. They're starting these things. Certainly, I think people can play better on the right. They can be more tactful, but all I see is the mainstream establishment Democrats have nothing to offer the American people because Trump, for all of his faults and his nasty demeanor, is giving the American people the core of what they want. A better economy, immigration reform, trade reform. These are things people wanted. Even Bernie Sanders was for, at least he was several years ago, not so much anymore. Now, the Democrats, all they have, you will pay a price. Instead of saying, we're going to do the right thing and we're going to, no. He said this because he knows he does not have the actual majority on his side. I'll leave it there. Stick around. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel, and I will see you all then.